Hey VC, it's Mazzy, and I'm gonna submit an entry to Tunes from the Man Cave and his, I think it says 5 millionth subscriber, something like that. It's a 5 in there somewhere, right? 5 million, 5,500. Anyway, he's doing a contest, and congratulations. He's big jazz guy, also Beatles and other things, but jazz is his main shtick, I think. And I have a decent jazz collection. I know a lot. I think he has a lot more first pressings than I do, and he's really into that, and he's really knowledgeable about that. And I love, compared to me, when younger people, and I consider him a younger person and a great family man, showcases his collection and his family at the beginning of each video. So, you know, I raise a glass. Well, I don't raise a glass yet, but I think it's question number 3. I'll raise a glass to you on that. But anyway, let's see what this, what the questions are.
So without further ado, question number 1. Record that reminds you of your family and why?
Okay, he's gonna tell a little more about it. Should we let him tell us first? Better than me telling him.
Can be any member of your family, guys. Can be your son or daughter, your mother, your father, your cousin, anybody.
Okay, well, some of these stories I've actually shared before on various videos, but obviously all of you who are watching this video don't follow him and me at the same time. And so maybe you didn't watch every little moment here, but I'm gonna show a record that reminds me of, God rest her soul, my mother. And I'm gonna show Mother Mania, not just for the obvious reasons. In fact, I think I showed this in a Mother's Day video about your mother, so you can watch that later. But this is sort of a best of. You know, obviously they didn't have the greatest hits, but this is a best of. And in 1969, my mother drove me and my friends, went to Fisherman's Wharf. We lived in San Francisco, and we went to Fisherman's Wharf, and right across Columbus and Bay was Tower Records, the second ever Tower Records, the first in San Francisco. And my mother said she'd buy me any record. So I picked out, I looked through the stacks of records, and I picked this out. And when I got it home and opened it up, when she saw this, she says, "Oi, that hippie dreck." If you know Yiddish, you know what that means. Hippie dreck. Anyway, she was cool, but anyway, love you, Mom, wherever you are, you know, but Mother Mania, Frank Zappa. That's for my mom.
I'm all about family here. Number 2, record that reminds you of your kids and why. Okay, now I know not all of you guys have kids. So if you don't, you can amend that and go with, if no kids, an album that reminds you of being a kid.
Well, there's a lot of albums that remind me of being a kid, but I have a kid. My kid is 28 now. My son Joseph, and I used to brainwash him. This was great. This was he was born in end of 1990, December 1990. So he, I'd drive with CDs in the car, and all the time I'd say, "Who's that?" I'd put on like John Coltrane. "Who's that? Who's that?" Miles Davis. "Who's that?" Tom Waits. "Who's that?" Only 2 bands he hated were the Talking Heads and the Smiths, for whatever reason. But he loved everything else. And I loved when I used to play Tom Waits. When he was like, what, 4 or 5, every time Tom Waits come on, he'd go, "The piano is drinking," and he would do a Tom Waits impression. That's not my story about an album, but one of the first albums that he really liked, that I played in the car a lot. And what year did this come out? This came out late 1990, maybe mid-90s. I can't see; it's too small. But anyway, Flood, the major label debut of the They Might Be Giants, and I used to play this in the car all the time. And Joseph just loved this, and so the first concert I ever took him to was at the Fillmore in San Francisco to see They Might Be Giants. And I had a friend who did was an interviewer at this Tech TV video channel, and They Might Be Giants played there in the afternoon of the show. So I got to take Joseph to see, in a small studio with about 15 people, a live performance there, and he met them. And then that night we went to see They Might Be Giants at the Fillmore. But Birdhouse in Your Soul and Istanbul, not Constantinople. But every song on this record, he just got to know really well. But They Might Be Giants, Flood, and that's for my son Joseph. Good question.
So again, if you have kids, I would like for you to talk about an album that reminds you of them.
Done.
If you don't, just talk about an album that reminds you of being a kid.
Could have done
Number
that
3,
too.
favorite beverage to enjoy while listening to records.
One of my favorite gins, and if you have watched my videos, you know what my beverage is. Martini. A martini is always made with gin, no exceptions. Otherwise it's called a vodka martini, but if you drink a vodka martini, you're an amateur. So 1 olive, slightly dry. Cheers. It's not snooty to drink a martini.
It doesn't matter what it is, guys. You know your boy, Chris, you know what I love? I love a cold beer. I love a good glass of scotch, a good glass of bourbon. But for a lot of you guys, I don't care if it's coffee. I don't care if it's water.
Coffee
You guys
would have
don't
been
to
my
blow me
second
away with
choice.
Some adult beverage.
But it's
Give me
nighttime
coffee, water,
right
tea,
now.
soda. I don't give a shit. It doesn't matter. Whatever it is you like to have.
He doesn't give a shit. Whatever,
in your time,
whatever we
listen to
want.
records, whatever it is you like to enjoy.
It's all about us.
'Cause I know we've all got one.
Yep.
We've all certainly got to have a beverage or two we love to enjoy.
Thank you. Thank you.
What's your favorite?
This is my favorite.
That's what I want to know.
Martini.
Number 4, your favorite record from your favorite genre. And if you can't decide on one, I understand. Show me 2 or 3. It's fine. I want you guys to not feel constricted by this contest. Have some fucking fun with it. Let's do it.
Okay. You know, it's not a hard one to do, obviously, but, you know, the obvious thing would be rock and roll, and I'd pick a Beatle record. That's the obvious thing. You know, I'd pick a jazz record. I'd, you know, pick, Bill Evans or John Coltrane or Miles Davis, or actually go back to Ben Webster and Lester Young. I'm a big bebop fan. I love stuff from the 40s and 50s and Dizzy Gillespie. And, oh, fuck, I just had another story. But it's too late now, so I had a better idea for one of my stories, but we're gonna continue. I don't do editing. So, one of my favorite genres of music is classical Indian music, and I'm that generation that grew up with the Beatles, and so I got turned on to Indian music because of the Beatles, because of George Harrison, because of the sitar on Rubber Soul. In fact, I remember when I first got Rubber Soul, I looked on the back on the liner notes, and it says George Harrison on one of the songs on sitar. I thought it was a typo. I thought it was a guitar. I had no idea what a sitar was, but obviously time went on and I learned about George Harrison's love of Indian music, and I learned of Ravi Shankar. And I'm picking 2 Ravi Shankar records only because they kind of connect to my life in the Beatles. One is Ravi Shankar in San Francisco. Being a native of San Francisco, I thought this was appropriate. I did see him twice in San Francisco, not during this show. This is probably the Civic Auditorium this was done. Probably says in here, but I'm not quite sure. But I'm a big Ravi Shankar fan. I think I saw him all together 4 times maybe. Recorded Civic Auditorium, that's where I saw him. But this is not the show. But I love that kind of psychedelic cover. And the other one is on Apple Records, a soundtrack to the movie Raga. that Apple co-produced. I could pick a handful of Ravi Shankar records I have. There's obviously, there's Ravi and George Harrison. But you get the idea. So classical Indian music, I love, not just Ravi Shankar, but he's the nucleus of all this wonderful Indian music. So that's my favorite of a genre, not my favorite genre. So I fucking cheated there, okay? Suck it up. That's tasty.
Number 5, an album in your collection with a great story. It can be a great story as to how you acquired it, a great story as to why you love it, a great story as to anything. Find an album in your collection with a great story and share it with your boy, share it with the rest of us in DC.
I'm sharing it with my boy. This is my boy. Okay. Probably one of the most schmaltzy albums ever made from the 70s, and it doesn't get a lot of love in the VC or anyone here, but Art Garfunkel's first solo album, Angel Clare, recorded after he left, after Simon and Garfunkel broke up. And I told this story on the VC, and if you heard this story before, you can speed ahead. 1972, I'm with my girlfriend in the car waiting. We just got out of a movie theater on Geary Boulevard in San Francisco. 1972, it was this late summer. I had a Ford Pinto, yes, don't even laugh there. My girlfriend Judy was in the car. Beautiful girl, we were young. I just was turning 18. If it was August, I can't remember if it was early August or after August. I turned 18 in August. The first year, the 18-year-olds got the vote. I was working for George McGovern because I hated fucking Richard Nixon, okay? I digress. So we get in the car and I'm parked on the corner across the street from the movie theater. The movie we saw was Neil Simon's Lovers and Other Strangers. And I'm sitting in the car. It was a warm night in San Francisco, which was kind of rare in the summer. Had my window open. I remember this so vividly. On the back side window, the back seat side window at bucket seats and two-door, the back side window was a George McGovern 72 bumper sticker. I look out of my window across the street. On the corner standing is Art Garfunkel. I freaked out because remember, Simon and Garfunkel were huge for my generation. They were big. We didn't, obviously looking 40 years later, 40 plus years, almost 50 years later, you don't think of him being cool and hip and anything, but he was. He had done the movies Catch-22 and Carnal Knowledge as an actor. So I look over and said, Judy, that's Art Garfunkel's there. I look out the window and he's staring at me. And he starts walking over to the car. And he leans down and says, why are you for George McGovern? And I was just like tongue-tied at first. And it turned out Simon and Garfunkel had done a short reunion benefit just like a month or two before. It was their first time they got together for a while for George McGovern. So I don't remember what I said in terms of that. I don't even think I answered about George McGovern. I said, do you want to ride? So he says, sure. So Art Garfunkel gets in the back seat of my Pinto and he says, do you know any good Chinese restaurants in Chinatown? And I said, yeah, my parents used to take me to this place called Nam Yen. We get in the car, going down Geary Boulevard towards Chinatown. And he says, do you mind if I smoke back here? And I hate cigarette smoke. My parents smoked and I never was a smoker. I hated it, but it was Art Garfunkel. So it turns out he pulls out a joint and smokes a joint in the back of my Pinto. He actually left in the back of a Pinto, there used to be a little ashtray. This is a 72 Pinto. There was a little ashtray and he had his roach there. So for, I think a few years in a plastic bag, I had Art Garfunkel's roach. We had dinner, he invited us to dinner. We hung out for about 2 hours and I dropped him off at midnight on Union Street so he could see the midnight showing of the movie The Candidate with Robert Redford. Anyway, he was in San Francisco recording this album that he co-produced with Roy Halley, who was an engineer on a lot of the later Simon and Garfunkel albums, Bookends and Bridge Over Troubled Waters. But hey, I was 18. That was fucking awesome. Great story. So this album came out, and As schmaltzy as it is, it's a beautifully recorded record. It's sonically stunning, and it's pretty. It's very romantic, and it's kind of folksy in a way, but very lush. So, great record. Buy it and play it and enjoy it. It means a lot to me. There you go. Good story.
I'm very, very interested in hearing all this. I've been looking so forward to doing this contest.
See? I got a good one.
And very important, before I announce the bonus question, guys, I'm not doing a drawing for this. Well, I mean, I am, but not for the grand prize winner. For the grand prize winner, I am going to pick the video I like best.
So this is a performance.
I was a 3-sport athlete from age 5 to age 18.
What, I have to run?
I don't like participation trophies. I don't want to draw the name of the person with the
I was a sprinter.
And give me the grand prize.
I was a cross-country runner. I was a halfback soccer player.
The video I like best, you're the grand prize winner.
Okay.
And because I still want to involve all of you guys, everybody that I don't vote as the winner, I'm going to put all of your names in a hat, the same video I announced the winner. I'm going to draw you out, and you're going to get a special prize.
That's so fucking
Has
random.
to be determined by me.
Oh,
ACLT
what are you,
package
God?
From your boy, Chris, at Tunes from the Man
Oh, my
Cave.
boy. Okay.
Grand prize winner.
That's kind of a southern way of putting it, isn't it? You're from the
$30
South. I knew that. Yeah.
Record of his or her choosing from Amazon, eBay, Art's website, whatever, or you can let me choose a care package for you. And the person to be drawn from the rest of the people who participated in the contest.
All right, come
This is
on. I
special
get it. I
prize
get it.
From your boy.
All right.
I'm going to announce it all in the same video.
Thank you.
One more time, real quick through. Make sure everybody understands this.
I'm going to go take a piss. Be right back.
TONTOJUMPONIT 500 subscribers contest. 1, record that reminds you of your family and why. Any member of your family. 2, record that reminds you of your kids and why. If no kids, and now one that reminds you of being a kid. 3, favorite beverage to enjoy while listening to records. It can be anything. 4, your favorite record from your favorite genre. You guys know I love my jazz. I know some of you guys love your alternative rock, your hard rock, your classic rock, your psychedelic rock. Basically, you guys just love a lot of rock. Holler at your boy. I want to know about it. Number 5, an album in your collection with a great story. Again, come at me with your best story, guys. I want to hear it. Bonus, tiebreaker question.
About time.
To announce, but here it is.
Okay.
Share a story about a time in which you were either on the giving or receiving end of vinyl karma. In the event that I got 2 of you guys, 3 of you guys in a dead heat through the first 5 questions, this is how I'll determine it. Give me your best story. I know you guys have got it. Whether you were on the giving end or the receiving end. It could be you deferring to a...
Okay, I got the gist of this because I watched this once before. So, and we don't need to hear him again, right? Okay. 1973. Same girlfriend, Judy. God, we had like 3 good years together. 3.5 years. 3 years. It's a long time when you're young. Okay? Well, I'm a Beatle collector, okay? Judy and I were young and in love in San Francisco. I collected records, and she would give me records and as gifts, sometimes surprise me, which was hard to do because I was a big record. I'm not a good person to give records to, and even if I'm not a good person to give records to because I usually already have them. But every once in a while, someone surprises me. But out of all the records I had, there was one special Beatle record I didn't have. Remember, this is 1973, so it had been out for already, 8 years, the record I'm going to show you in a second. Plus, I used to count my records. Oh, I hit 100. I hit, kind of like subscribers here. I counted my records. So, Judy, on my 1973 birthday, so what was that? My 19th birthday, Judy gave me what would be my 500th record. Think of that, 19 years old, and I had 500 records. Of course, this is a different time. This is 1973, so it was all about records. It wasn't even cassettes, and there were 8-tracks. Well, maybe cassettes were around then, but I was never into tapes, really. I did have some 8-tracks in the car for a while, where you pull out the deck. Again, I digress, and I'm ranting here. This is a long fucking video, I'm sorry. So, Judy finds something for me that I never had before. Judy gave me a grail. Judy gave me the Beatles' Yesterday and Today butcher cover. Yeah, a little damage and everything, but I don't think I ever saw one at the time. I'd seen pictures. I never saw one in person. Looking back on it, I don't know why I didn't start looking for it, because in those days, obviously no eBay, no internet, and record stores didn't have it, and there weren't even a lot of used record stores then, so you had to kind of search around, and I guess used stores were there, but she gave me and found me this fucking grail. And there's a punchline to this, and you guys don't tell if you already know this punchline, because it was on one of my other videos. She gave it to me, and in lieu of a card, she wrote on the back, August 23rd, 1973. Norman, I give you this album with much joy and happiness on your 19th birthday. Enjoy the original album cover, and most of all, enjoy the music inside. I had a far out time finding this for you, really. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be Judy, your 500th album. There's a Yiddish word, I was verklempt. Google it. Anyway, good luck on 5 million subscribers, and thanks for allowing me to participate. And I love your passion for jazz and your family, and good luck. This is the kiss-ass part at the end where I grovel and go on and on until I finish my favorite beverage. Anyway, take care, and Mazzy out. Mazzy loves you. Bye.